discussing design of control unit of a CPU. Okay. So in our previous lectures, we have seen that important parts of a computer remains CPU, memory, and input-output devices. So these are connected through a common system bus. Further, a CPU has important parts like arithmetic and logical unit, registers, and control unit. Okay, so these are further interface through internal CPU bus. Okay, so in our previous lectures, we discussed about arithmetic and logical unit and their applications, then registers and their applications in writing a program, assembly language program. Okay. So next chapter is on your control unit. That is how control unit of a CPU or how control unit of microprocessor is designed. Okay. So this is our next topic of discussion. So CPU is designed in two ways. Okay, one is hardwired control design and second is microprogrammed control design. Okay, actually the function of a control unit, the function of a control unit remains to provide control signals to various parts of the CPU or the microprocessor. Okay, so in this CPU, all the activities or operations of the CPU are controlled by control unit. So the function of control unit remains to generate the control signals. Okay. So there are two ways in which is a control unit can generate the control signals. One is hardwired control mechanism. Okay. Second is by using microprogram control mechanism. Okay. So in hardwired control mechanism, the instructions, fetching, decoding, and execution all is done by means of hardware. Okay, so a hardware like gates, especially gates or adder circuits, these are used to design the control unit, and all the activities are controlled by the hardware part. Okay, and the microprogrammed control in this, a control unit has an internal memory. That internal memory is called as control memory. So that control memory is having micro instructions. Say while execution of any instruction, for example, we want to execute say add B, that is addition of A and B. So while executing the add instruction, microprocessor goes through various micro operations. Okay, certain micro operations may be required to execute any instruction. So those micro operations are controlled by means of hardware in case of hardware control. But in case of micro program control, the micro operations are performed by the micro instructions written in the micro program. Okay, so the program which is used to generate or which is used to perform various micro operations is called as micro program, and it is available in the control memory of the microprocessor. Okay, so further there is a detailed comparison that we will make at the end of this topic, because after discussing hardware control and microprogram control, we can make a better comparison. Okay, so first of all, in our last lecture we were discussing hardware control. So let us make a summary of that lecture related to hardware control. So in hardwired control, the basic control unit structure remains like this. This is a control structure of a simple CPU. Okay, simple CPU. So this control unit has decoders, 3 into 8 decoder, 4 into 16 decoder, a sequence counter, 4-bit sequence counter, instruction register, and control logic gates. Okay. So the instruction which is to be executed by the CPU, that instruction code is placed in the 16-bit instruction register. Okay, so the size of instruction register can vary from microprocessor to microprocessor. So in this particular discussion, an example of 16-bit processor is being considered. So the instruction register is 16-bit register. It will have the code of the instruction which is to be executed. So this code is further divided into parts, like one part is from 0 to 12. Okay. Then 12, 13, 14. So one is 0 to 11 means first 12 bits, then bit 13, 14 and 15. Okay, that is bit number 12, 13 and 14. So these 3 bits will comprise the code, that is opcode, that is the operation to be performed. Okay, and then bit number 15. Okay, so as we have discussed in our last lecture, the bit number 15 and bit D7 generated by this decoder circuit, these 2 bits decide the type of addressing mode used in the instruction which is to be executed by the microprocessor. Okay, so you can see from this flow chart. Okay, so after decoding, see, during first T state, the T0 T state, program counter contents are copied to address register, and during T1 state, the opcode of the instruction to be executed is read from the memory and placed in IR register, and along with this, program counter is updated, and T2 stage is used to decode the opcode placed in the IR register. So after decoding, if we find that D7 bit is 0. If D7 bit is 0, that means the instruction is related to memory. Means the data which is to be manipulated is available in memory. Further, there are 2 methods to read information from memory. One is by using direct addressing and second is by using indirect addressing. So it is decided by I bit. So I bit is called as indirect bit. So if this bit is 0, then the direct addressing will be used to read the information from memory. Okay, direct addressing means the address of the memory location from where the information is to be fetched, that address will be available within the instruction. That means within the opcode जो हमने IR register में रखा है. Okay, and in indirect method, the information available in the IR that will have an address of the memory location where address of that data memory is available. Okay, so this I will discuss in by using whiteboard. Okay, then if D7 bit is 1, then there can be 2 types of instructions. One is instructions related to registers or instructions related to input-output operations. Okay, further it is decided by I. If I bit is 0, then the instruction will be related to registers, and if it is 1, the instruction will be related to input-output operation. So let us move back to the block diagram. Okay. So it is a function of the control logic gates to identify the type of instruction. Okay. So after identifying the type of instruction, then reading the data, then its function becomes to execute the instruction. Okay. So this total, the control unit can take a certain amount of time to fetch the opcode, to record the opcode, and to execute the opcode. Okay, so those timing signals are generated by a combination of sequence counter and this decoder circuit. So this sequence counter, it generates outputs from 0 to 15. Means it is a 4-bit sequence, so it can provide 16-bit combinations in output. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, and up to 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so based on the input combination received, the 4 into 16 decoder activates one output at a time. Okay, suppose if it receives input 0, 0, 0, 0, then it will activate T0, means it will generate a pulse at T0. Okay, and if it receives 0, 0, 0, 1, it will generate pulse T1, and so on. So the decoder circuit will provide pulses starting from T0, T1, T2, and will go up to T50. Okay, so the output of decoder circuit, it depends upon this input, that is output of the sequence counter. So this sequence counter changes its state on receiving of clock pulses. Like for example, if the sequence counter receives first clock signal, it generates 0, 0, 0, 0. When it receives next clock signal, it will generate 0, 0, 0, 1. On receiving of third clock signal, it will be generating 0, 0, 1, 0, and so on. Okay, and if clear signal is applied to this sequence counter, it will be reset. It will start generating signals from 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. So, so the hidden part is that is the structure of this control logic gates. How we design this circuit. Okay. So let us see this part. This was pending in our last lecture. Okay. So this we have already discussed. So this diagram shows that the instruction can be executed within first 5 states: T0, T0, T1, T2, T3, T4. So 5 states are required to generate any, say, it is an example. It is an example of a particular instruction. Okay, so a particular instruction requires 5 T states. So during T0 state, the control unit performs fetching of the opcode. During during T0 and T1. During T0 and T1, it performs fetching of the instruction. During T2, decoding is performed, that is identifying the instruction. T3 and T4 are used to execute the instruction. So at the end of T4, if D3 is active, okay, the condition is if T4 and D3 both are active, then a clear signal will be generated. So it will start the sequence counter again from 0 state, T0 state. Okay. So this particular example, in this example, the microprocessor or the CPU needs total 5 T states to execute the instruction. Okay. So this number can be 7, this number can be 9. So if it is 9, then the counter will generate pulses T0, T1, T2, T3 up to T8. After T8, the clear signal will be generated and the counter will be reset. Then instruction cycle, this is what we were discussing. The instruction cycle basically contains the steps which are used in execution of an instruction. So it includes fetching the opcode from the memory. Basically the program or the program codes are placed in the memory, code memory. So codes are to fetch one by one and then the microprocessor performs execution. Okay. So first step becomes fetching the opcode. Then after fetching the opcode, it is placed in the instruction register. Okay. So first two T states, that is T0 and T1, are taken by the CPU to fetch the opcode, then decode the opcode. Decoding means identifying the operation to be performed. And next step becomes to execute the instruction. Okay. So step number 1, 2, and 4, these are compulsory. Okay. And step number 3, it is optional. It depends upon the type of addressing mode used. If the instruction is related to memory, then step number 3 is required. Okay. Further, if the in memory related instruction, if indirect addressing mode is used, then this step number 3 is required. Okay. So let us switch to the whiteboard to discuss this concept. Suppose this is the memory. Say it is having the address 1, 2, 3. Okay. And we have another memory area. Okay. So it is having a location, say this location, and is having address 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now if we see the instruction register, the instruction register has I bit, then 3 bits are the having the code, and bit number 0 to 11, this is having the a value, address value. Okay. Now if the addressing mode, say in the instruction, addressing mode used is say direct. Okay. And the instruction is to perform addition of accumulator and a byte. Okay. And this byte is say available in the memory of address 456. Okay. So we have to add, suppose the instruction is to add the contents of accumulator and a byte, and the result is to be placed in accumulator. Okay. Now, in case of direct addressing mode, the address of the byte, it's directly available within the instruction code. Here 456 will be available. I have written it in decimal. You can write it in hexadecimal, 12 bit. Okay. So If the addressing mode used is direct, when it will be when D7 is was it 0? Yes. Yes, D7 is 0. So when it is 0, the instruction is related to memory. And further, I bit is checked. If I bit is 0, then the addressing mode used will be direct. So when this is the combination, addressing mode used will be direct. Whatever is the value available in this part of the opcode, it will be used as the address of memory. So from that address, a byte will be obtained and it will be added in the accumulator. So this is direct addressing mode method. Okay. And if the addressing mode used is say, indirect, okay, then in the instruction, instead of address of the byte, another address will be provided, say 1, 2, 3. At that address of this memory location will be given 456. Okay, so the microprocessor will have to obtain address of memory where byte is placed, which is to added to accumulator from a memory of address 1 to 3. So 1 to 3 will be given in that case. So in case of indirect addressing mode, whatever value is available in this part of the instruction register, that will be considered as address of a memory where address of data is available. Okay, just clear, students? Yes, clear, students?
Yes.
Okay. So if the addressing mode used is say input output, means if the instructions related to input output devices, then we have to mention address of the device. So it is given directly in this part of the instruction. Okay. And if the instruction is related to registers, if it is related to registers, then the address of the register, there are various registers in the microprocessor. So to which to which register the microprocessor has to communicate, whose address will be available in this part of the instruction code. Okay. So the bits I and D7, it decides the addressing mode used. So its combination can be 00, 01, 10, 11. So according to this combination, the control logic part of the control unit decides the type of addressing mode being used in the instruction. Okay. Okay, let us switch back to the PPT part. Okay. So fetch an instruction is the first step. Record the instruction code becomes second step. If the instruction is related to memory and addressing mode used is indirect, then third step is also required. Then final step becomes to execute the instruction. Okay. So this chart, this flow chart shows all the steps followed by the control unit to execute any instruction. Okay. First of all, it will the counter will start from 0. Okay, on execution of every instruction, the sequence counter should start from 0. Okay, so it starts from 0 during first T state. During first T state, that is T0 T state, the program counter contents will be copied to address register. Here AR is the address register. Okay, so you can differentiate AR and AC. AC is the accumulator and AR is the address register. Because AR register is directly connected to the memory address bus. So first of all, it becomes necessary to copy program counter to address register. Okay, and program counter is having the address of the instruction to be executed. So address of the instruction code is copied to AR register. And second step, T1 becomes to read a value from memory of address in AR register and store it in IR register. Okay. So during T0, address of the opcode is obtained in accumulator, and during T1, a code from memory is fetched and placed in instruction register IR. Okay, and simultaneously program counter is updated with one value. Okay, and during T2, decoding of the code which is available in the instruction register, decoding is done by the control logic part of the control unit. Okay, so in decoding, if the microprocessor finds D70, it means the instructions related to memory. And further, if it finds I is equal to 0, then addressing mode used in memory related instruction is direct. Okay. And if it finds indirect addressing, then during T3, see here, then during T3, a value from the memory address will be obtained in AR register. Okay. अब इस AR register में क्या था? पहले AR register में क्या था? It was having the value available in IR register from 0 to 11. That is 1 to 3. जो हमने example में 1 to 3 लिखा था. That is placed in AR register 1 to 3. Okay. And then from that 1 to 3, 4, 5, 6 is obtained. 4, 5, 6 is the actual address from where byte is to be obtained, and then the program is executed. Okay, and after execution, the counter is again set to 0. And if the instruction is related to register or input-output devices, then further I finds whether it is related to registers or input-output devices. Then after finding it and after finding the address of the register, the control unit executes the instruction related to register or execute the instruction related to input-output devices, and the sequence counter is set to 0. Okay, so this completes the execution of the instruction, and again the control is transferred to first step. That is where the counter was set to 0. Okay. In this slide, you can see the steps performed in T state, T0 and T1. T0 and T1. Okay. Yes, students, is it visible to you? T0 state visible आपको?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in T0 state, what step is to be followed? What is to be done by the control unit in T0 state? T0 स्टेट में क्या करेगा कंट्रोल यूनिट? सीपीयू क्या करेगा T0 स्टेट में? हाँ जी, so it will place the program counter value in address register. Okay, so during T0 state, only T0 it will be active, so it is connected to S1 bit. Okay, so output of this gate will be 0, this gate 1 and 0. So 1, 0, 1, it's related to AR register. So AR register will be selected during first T state. Okay, and simultaneously T0 is also connected to the load pin. Load means write pin. Okay, write pin of the AR register. Okay, so a value from program counter will be received and it will be placed in AR register. Okay. And during T1 state, a value from memory will be obtained. So if T1 is also active, so if T1 is also active, so these values S0, S1, S2 all will be 1, 1, 1, 1. Memory will be selected, and the value from memory it will be obtained because the read pin is also active. Why read pin is active? Because input of this gate is also T1. So T1 is active. With this, read pin will be activated. Say a value from memory will be obtained and it will be placed in the IR register, because this is also going to the load register. And this load pin of the IR register. Okay, and simultaneously increment of program counters will become also active. So with this, program counter will be incremented. Okay, so this shows the design of circuit required in T0 and T1 states. Okay, so which are common in instructions, because the first step becomes fetching the opcode. Okay, so it shows the fetching the opcode in T0 and T1. Okay. So this diagram shows common steps followed in fetching the instructions during T0 and T1. Okay. So this is what we discussed in our previous lecture. Okay. So this we have discussed. Okay. Then after fetching the opcode, the microprocessor, the control unit identifies the operation to be performed. It performs a decoding of the instruction. Okay. On decoding, the microprocessor or the CPU, it can find any type of instruction of these. Like in this table, the instructions related to registers are shown. These are register reference instructions. Then it can be memory reference instructions or input output related instructions. Okay, so let us see these instructions. So you can see register reference instructions. These are applicable on registers only, like clear accumulator. Okay, or one more instruction is, that is R. R means a small r here. It is combination of D7 I invert means if it is 0. Okay, if it is simply written as I, it means that this bit should be 1, that is 0, and T3 it should be 1, state T3. Okay, and R is combination of these 3 bits. Okay, so if this combination is 1 0 1 1 0 1, so this is common to all register reference instructions. It's common to all register reference instructions. Okay, and IR bits from 0 to 11. This is the first part of the instruction code. Bits 0 to 11. So based on the status of these bits, the microprocessor will execute any one of these instructions. See, while execution of these instructions, R, small r, it should be common to all. Means the status of D7 should be 1, I it should be 0, and T3 it should be 1. Okay, an execution of all these instructions. Okay, why T3 bit is considered here? Because during T0 and T1, during T0 and T1, fetching is done. During T2, decoding is done. Okay, and execution is performed during T3. Execution of these instructions will be performed during T3. So T3, D7 and I, the status of these pins should be common to all these. And then depending on the status of these bits, B0, B1, B2, B3 up to B11, or at a time one bit will be activated. So if say B0 is activated, if this bit is 1, then HLT instruction needs to be executed. If B1 bit is 1, then instruction, that is skip if 0 instruction, it is to be executed. If B2 is 1, then skip if accumulator 0, it is to be executed, and so on. So if suppose if B9, if B9 is 1, along with these bits, along with the status of these bits is active. If B9 is 1, then the microprocessor will execute complement accumulator instruction. So it will place complement of accumulator in register AC accumulator. Okay. Yes, students, clear how the microprocessor or how the control unit identifies the instruction to be executed by the microprocessor. Okay. So this is a simple hypothetical case, and in 8085 microprocessor, this concept is used. So this is a simple case. It's not directly related to, we can say that these instructions are not as per the format of 8085, but it's a simple case to discuss the concept of hardwired type of control design. Okay. So during T0, T1, fetching of code is done. During T2, decoding is done and the instruction is identified. And if microprocessor or the controller unit finds that the instruction related to registers, then it has to consider these three values: D7 bit, I bit, and T3. D7 bit should be 1, I bit should be 0, and T3 should be 1. And this makes R, and R along with B bits further identify the instruction out of these instructions. So these instructions are executed within T3 time cycle. So at the end of, after executing the instruction, after executing any instruction of these this set, the control unit will place a value 0 in the sequence counter. The sequence counter should be cleared. Okay. Then next set can be instructions related to memory. Instructions related to memory. Okay. So there are 6 types of instructions which can be executed related to memory. So it depends upon the bits D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, 6. So if now what are D0, D1, D5, up to D6, D7? These are the outputs of 3x8 decoder. Okay. So if memory related instruction is to be executed, then the outputs of these bits D0, D up to D6. So these bits will identify different 6 instructions to be executed by the microprocessor. The microprocessor or the control unit can identify 1 instruction at a time. So it means the one output of 6 will be activated at a time. Okay. So if D0 is active, it means the AND operation will be performed between accumulator and a byte available in memory. Okay. Then if D1 is 1, then add operation will be performed. For D2, it means load accumulator. It will be done. Okay. And STA means store accumulator from memory. Okay. BUN means branch unconditionally. BSA means branch and save return address. These are the instructions. Like ISZ means increment skip of if 0. So these are the branching instructions: BUN, BSN, ISZ. Okay. So one example is given. The 2 examples are given. First is it is related to AND operation. Okay. This D0 T4, it is related to AND operation if the byte is available in memory. Okay. So first step becomes to bring, see, the AND operation will be performed between accumulator and data register. So if the second byte is available in the memory, first of all, it should be fetched from the memory and placed in data register. So after this, logical AND operation, this symbol indicates logical AND operation. The logical AND operation will be performed between accumulator and the data register. Okay. So this instruction and instruction, it needs 2 micro operations. Okay. So to complete the execution of this instruction, the control unit will go through 2 operations. Those are micro operations. Okay. The overall operation which is to be performed is to ending 2 bytes. This is the overall operation to be performed by the instruction. And to complete this instruction, further 2 micro operations will be performed by the microprocessor. One micro operation is to read second byte from memory and place it in the data register. And second micro operation to be performed is to to perform logical AND operation between a completer and the byte and data register. And at the end of this operation, the sequence counter is set to 0. Okay. So in hardwired control, these micro operations are performed by means of hardware. Okay, micro operations are performed by using hardware. But in micro program control, further micro instructions are available to perform the micro operations. So this is the basic difference. Now you can understand the basic difference. In hardwired control, the micro operations, all the micro operations required to complete the operation of an instruction are performed by the hardware, that is by the logic gates, the combination of logic gates, the circuit of logic gates. Okay. And in case of programmed microprogram control, a microprogram for each instruction will be available in the control memory of the control unit, and that microprogram will be used to perform the micro operations. Okay. Next, this example. Now, in this example, you can see three micro operations can be required to execute an instruction. Okay. So this instruction is related to increment and skip if 0. So in this, a byte will be incremented, a byte will be incremented. If it is 0, then the control will be transferred to the destination location. Okay. So now in first micro operation, a byte from memory will be obtained and will be placed in data register DR. Okay. Now to obtain this byte, the condition is the D6 bit and T4 bit. D6 bit and T4 bit, it should be 1. Means D6 bit should be 1 because D6 is related to ISZ instruction. So D6 bit should be 1. Okay. And T4 is the state when this operation will be performed. And in T5 state, the byte will be incremented because the byte we have brought in the DR register, so it will be incremented during T5 state. And in T6 state, if the byte is 0, then the control will be, we can say that it will be skipped. It will be skipped. Skipped means the next instruction will be executed. Next instruction means the program counter will be operated by 1. Okay, so this is the concept here. So overall, if you see, this instruction needs 3 micro operations to complete the execution of the given task. Okay. Then there can be instructions related to input-output devices. So for this, the condition is D7 bit should be 1, I should be 1, and T3 should be 1. Okay, so this is the concept. So this combination is represented with P. So it's common to all the instructions. Okay, so instructions are related to input, that is getting input from external device, giving output to external device, input and output. Skip on input flag, there are flags, input flag, output flag. So these are the branching instructions. Okay, so these are the instructions related to interrupt. Okay, so these instructions will be executed if this condition is true, means P is true, and further B6, B7, B8, B9, 10, 11. These bits will decide which out of these 6 instructions will be executed by the microprocessor. Okay, so it is to be decided by this set. So next is design of basic computer. So how a basic CPU is designed. So this we will discuss in our next lecture. Okay. So if you have any doubt till now, you can discuss.